I can't believe what just happened at Hallis Hall. A second-year rookie is making Ben Johnson forget all the veterans, while in New York they're dreaming of reuniting two old acquaintances who could change the Bears' future forever. But before getting too excited, I'm going to tell you the raw truth about why chasing superstars could be the worst decision we could make. Do you think you know what's happening in Chicago? You're crazy! Because what's coming is going to flip everything. You thought about this team. Luther Burden III is causing a stir in Lake Forest that has everyone wondering if this kid from Missouri is the missing piece. Can you imagine what it means when a rookie head coach like Ben Johnson is already talking wonders about a rookie? I'm telling you this. When you see a coach who came from coordinating Detroit's most explosive offense getting excited like this, it's because he's seeing something special. After years of watching this team struggle to find reliable receivers, beyond DJ Moore, after seeing how Justin Fields never had the weapons he needed, we finally have something different. But let's take it step by step because this guy's story is fascinating. And what's happening in the training camp is historic. Doc Burden came from Missouri where he was a real machine. In his last college season, he recorded 86 receptions for 1,212 yards and 9 touchdowns. But do you know what catches my attention the most? His versatility. This kid isn't just a typical slot receiver. He can play any position in the receiver field. At Missouri, they used him as a flanker, split end, in bunch formations, in motion, whatever was necessary to create mismatches. And why is that crucial for Chicago? Because Johnson comes from an offense in Detroit known for creating confusion in rival defenses. Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't just a slot receiver, he was a weapon that could be moved all over the field. Josh Reynolds wasn't just a deep threat, he was a player who could execute the complete playbook concept. Ben Johnson, who isn't exactly known for giving compliments, publicly said that Burden's game speed jumped out at all of us. Do you understand what that means coming from someone who coordinated Amon-Ra St. Brown's 1,515-yard season and worked with Josh Reynolds when he registered 608 yards in just 14 games? Johnson has seen top-level talent, and if he's impressed like this, it's because Burden has something different. But here's the detail that nobody's mentioning, the draft process. The wide receivers coach Antoine Randall L., who as a player knew what it was like to stand out in this position with 743 receptions in his career and 2 Super Bowls, fully committed to Burden throughout the draft process. Randall L. not only flew to Missouri multiple times to evaluate him, but also convinced the whole organization that this kid had the exact profile they needed. Do you remember how we got to Burden? The Bears had the 39th pick after trading, down from the 36th with the Bills. They could have taken Roman Wilson from Michigan, who many had ranked higher. They could have gone for Jalen Polk from Washington, who had more media hype. Instead, Poles and Randall L. went for a player they knew had the specific skill set that Johnson wanted to implement offensively. And you know what excites me the most? The mentality of this guy. Burden came out and publicly said, "I feel like I can do everything in this offense." I believe that when a rookie has that confidence and backs it up on the field, we're witnessing the birth of something special. He's not asking for time to adapt. He's not making excuses. He's saying he's ready to contribute now. The reality of the training camp is that the Bears have been working on integrating all these new pieces. Caleb Williams is in his first year as a starter. They have a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, and new players everywhere. In that chaos, for a rookie to stand out the way Burden is impressive. Johnson also mentioned that Burden is still working on the details, the perfect alignment, the more complex routes of the playbook, the exact timing synchronization with Williams on timing routes. But what doesn't need work, according to Johnson, is his natural instinct, his decision speed, and that ability to create separation that only special receivers have. Do you want to know how special this can be? In Detroit, Johnson had St. Brown as his main weapon, but also developed players like Calif Raymond and Tom Kennedy in specific roles. The difference is that Burden has more physical talent than any of those complementary players. If Johnson can develop that versatility we saw in Detroit with a superior talent like Burden, we're talking about an offensive dimension that Chicago hasn't had in decades. If that surprises you, wait to hear this. The New York Jets are dreaming of a reunion that could change the entire NFC North landscape. Paul Esdin Jr. of Heavy Sports proposed something that has everyone talking. DJ Moore in exchange for a third-round pick in 2027 to reunite with Justin Fields in New York. Do you think this is a coincidence? I'm telling you this. The Jets just lost Davante Adams, who signed with the Rams after being released because they couldn't find a team willing to trade for him. When we think of everything we've suffered since Trubisky left, when we remember how Fields never had the consistency he needed in the receiver core, this proposal has brutal irony. Adams was the Jets' #1 weapon, their reliable veteran, and now they have a massive hole in their receiver core with only Garrett Wilson as a real threat. And here's where things get interesting. Moore had his best season in 2023, precisely with Fields as quarterback. But let's get to the specific numbers because they're mind-blowing and tell a story most people don't know. In that 2023 season, Moore not only had 1,364 receiving yards, the most of his career up to that point, but also recorded 96 receptions and 8 touchdowns. All those were personal bests, but do you know what's most impressive about these numbers? The efficiency and context. Moore averaged 14.2 yards per reception with Fields, significantly higher than his career average of 13.1 yards. That means he wasn't just catching more balls, he was doing more with each opportunity. The chemistry between these two wasn't just statistical, it was visible on the field every Sunday. Fields knew exactly where to find Moore in pressure situations. On third down, Moore had a 68% catch rate with Fields. That's elite for any receiver, especially considering Fields wasn't exactly known for his passing precision. In the red zone, Moore and Fields connected 8 times for touchdowns, more than any other quarterback-receiver duo in the Bears' recent history. Paul Esdin Jr. made a brilliant point in his analysis that many people are overlooking. Moore is really a good player, and adding him to the Jets' offense would be a net positive. What will make Moore even more impactful is Wilson's presence on the other side. Having 2-star receivers would force rival defenses to make business decisions before every play about whom to focus their attention on. That logic is solid when you analyze it from a scheme perspective. Wilson has proven he can be a #1. In 2022, he had 1,103 yards and 4 touchdowns with much worse quarterbacks than Fields. But he's been carrying the entire offensive responsibility of the Jets. With Moore on the other side, each would benefit from the other. Defenses couldn't double cover Wilson without leaving Moore in favorable one-on-one situations, and vice versa. Considering Moore has proven he can consistently win in single coverage, he had one of the best rates against single coverage in 2023. This combination could be lethal. But here's the million-dollar question that has massive implications. Why would the Bears make this trade? A third-round pick in 2027 isn't exactly a major prize for a receiver who just had over 1,100 yards last season and has been consistent in his production. However, there are several factors that could be playing in favor of this scenario. First, the money and salary cap. Moore is in the second year of a 4-year, $110 million contract with $82.6 million guaranteed. That's $27.5 million per year committed to a receiver who's going to turn 28 in April, especially when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract who needs multiple weapons. Not necessarily one super expensive. Do you understand the salary cap implications here? The Bears are projected to be approximately $15 million over the cap in 2026. Freeing up Moore's contract would give them approximately $25 million in cap space. Money they could use to extend Caleb Williams when the time comes, or to add multiple pieces in free agency. Second, the arrival of Rome Odunze and the development of Burden. If these rookies are truly as promising as they seem, and if Rome Odunze continues to develop as expected after a solid rookie season with 31 receptions for 611 yards, maybe Moore becomes a luxury piece they could trade for draft capital to build other parts of the team. Third, and this is what nobody wants to admit but is reality, Moore and Fields weren't always on the same page throughout the season. There were moments of visible frustration, routes that didn't complete due to lack of timing, and a chemistry that, although statistically productive, didn't always feel natural or fluid. Do you remember that game against Green Bay where Moore ran an out route and Fields threw a comeback? Or that situation against Detroit where Moore expected a back shoulder and Fields threw it forward. Those disconnects were more frequent than the stats show. The Jets, on the other hand, would be acquiring a proven receiver who already has a history of success with their current quarterback. Fields knows Moore's tendencies, knows how to find him in third down situations, and Moore knows exactly what to expect from Fields in terms of release time and ball placement. From a quarterback development perspective, this could also benefit Fields. In Chicago, he was the one learning and adapting to the system. In New York, he would have a receiver who already understands his strengths and can adjust his routes accordingly. But do we really want to give the Jets a proven receiver who could help them reach the playoffs while we continue building? That's the question that keeps me up at night, especially considering the Jets could be direct competition in the wildcard race. And when you thought we were done, here comes what really has me upset. There are Bears fans out there dreaming that we should go after Micah Parsons from Dallas, and I have to be the one to bring them down from that cloud because this obsession with superstars has already cost us dearly before, and apparently we haven't learned the lesson. Gene Chamberlain of Chicago Bears on SI put it perfectly. Bears fans pining for Micah Parsons are the same ones who demanded the team trade for Cleveland's Myles Garrett, and that they go after Cincinnati's Trey Hendrickson. Do you see the pattern here? Every season it's the same story. We want the shiny toy from another team without thinking about the financial consequences, the opportunity cost, or the lessons we've already learned. After years of suffering with impulsive decisions, after seeing how chasing big names cost us the future, there are still people who don't understand. Do you remember Khalil Mack? Because I remember perfectly, and that experience should be enough for us to never consider such trades again. Let's recap exactly what happened, because the memory is selective. We sent Oakland 2 draft first rounds, 2019 and 2020, a third round from 2020 and a 6th round from 2019. In exchange, we received a 2nd round from 2020, a conditional 5th from 2020, and of course Mack. But that wasn't all. We immediately had to give him a 6-year, $141 million contract. That was historic for an edge rusher at that time. $90 million were guaranteed. Now, those numbers seem almost cheap compared to what top edge rushers make, but at the time it represented a massive investment in a single player. And what did we get for that astronomical investment? A spectacular season in 2018. Where Mack recorded 12.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, and was fundamental for our divisional title. He was an absolute terror that first season. And without him, we probably wouldn't have made the playoffs with Trubisky as quarterback. But after that magical season, everything collapsed. In 2019, Mack had only 8.5 sacks and wasn't even among the 25 best edge rushers in pressure rate. In 2020, he was 13th in the league with 9 sacks. Respectable, but not exactly the dominance we expected for that money. And in 2021, the irony was complete when Trevis Gibson, a player we found almost for free in the 5th round, recorded 7 sacks while Mack only had 6. Do you understand the madness of that situation? We gave away 2 draft first rounds, picks that could have been Justin Herbert in 2020, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, T. Higgins, or any number of players who could have helped Justin Fields when he came as quarterback. Instead, we had to improvise with low-level receivers and an offensive line built with wire and hope. Can you imagine if we had those picks to draft young talent around Fields? If instead of giving $23 million per year to Mack, we had cap space to sign better receivers in free agency? If we had used those picks to build a decent offensive line? Gene Chamberlain made a brutal but necessary point. What good did that super team in 2018 do us if we ended up going home with the most painful double doink in playoff history? A spectacular season that ended in the biggest disappointment we've experienced as fans in the last 2 decades. Now it turns out we want to repeat the same mistake with Parsons. But do you really think Jerry Jones is going to give away his best defensive player? Jones didn't become a billionaire by being stupid or sentimental. He has tools to keep Parsons in Dallas that we can't compete against. The franchise tag is Dallas's secret weapon. And here are the specific numbers that nobody's mentioning. They can franchise tag Parsons for the next 2 years if they don't. Reach a long-term agreement. In 2026, it will cost them approximately $26.5 million under the linebacker tag. In 2027, it would be around 31.8 million under the exclusive tag. Do you know what that means? They can keep Parsons for 2 more years for a total of 58.3 million, while in the free market, they'd probably have to pay 40 to 45 million per year in a long-term contract. From a financial perspective, the tag is cheaper. Jones himself came out to calm Dallas fans, saying, "I would say to our fans, don't lose any sleep over this." Do you think those are the words of someone seriously considering trading their superstar? Please. Those are the words of someone who knows exactly how they're going to handle the situation. And do you know what else? We are over the salary cap for 2026. According to current over-the-cap projections, the Bears need to lose approximately 15 million in salaries, not add 40 to 45 million per year to an edge rusher. How are we going to justify that investment when we need to extend Caleb Williams in 2027, when we need to re-sign Rome Odunze in 2028, and when we still have gaps in multiple positions? The reality nobody wants to admit is that there are dozens of teams with better financial situations than us to pay that kind of money. The 49ers have 47 million in projected cap space for 2026. The Dolphins have 38 million. The Rams, when they get rid of some contracts, will have flexibility. All have more capacity than us to make that kind of move. And the draft capital cost? To acquire Parsons, we'd probably need to give at least 2 first rounds, similar to what we gave for Mac. Those are picks we could use to build up the offensive line, find more receivers, strengthen the secondary. Do we really want to mortgage the future again for a single player? Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles are doing things right. Drafting young talent like Burden, signing specific pieces like Joe Thuney that solve immediate problems without breaking the bank, building a solid base that can sustain for years. Thuney cost us $16 million for 2 years, a fraction of what Parsons would cost. Do you see the difference in philosophy? Instead of an expensive superstar, we have a proven veteran who immediately improves the offensive line and allows Williams to develop. Instead of giving away picks for big names, we're developing young talent that will grow with our quarterback. I believe the reality is this, Chicago. The future of this team isn't in desperate trades for expensive superstars. It's in developing talent like Luther Burden, in giving Caleb Williams the right tools without mortgaging the future, and in making smart decisions with our money and picks. What do you think? Should we trade DJ Moore if it means more draft capital and financial flexibility for the future? Or do you think his experience and production are too valuable for a young quarterback like Williams? And about Parsons, do you agree with me that chasing superstars has burned us before, and that we should learn from our mistakes? Let me know in the comments what option you'd take if you were Ryan Poles. And if you agree with me that building from the ground up is the right path, like this video right now. If you think I'm crazy and we should go for all the available superstars, also let me know in the comments. But explain how we're going to pay for all that. This Bears fan community is a family, and we need these discussions to better understand where our team is headed. Subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow we'll have more explosive news about the moves Poles is considering for this offseason, and you can't miss what's coming for Chicago. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Dave Bears!